everyone. Welcome back, or should I say, welcome to the new Lunar New Year, mi gente. Well, as we ring in the year of the rabbit, representing longevity, peace, and prosperity in Chinese culture. A new photo exhibition titled This Is Home is going to tell the stories of the Asian American community in New York City and abroad. It's going to talk about how they live, work, love, and when needed, stand up for what they believe in. And while the Lunar New Year is a celebration of renewal with hearts full of hope for health and prosperity in the year ahead, these photographers exhibit the beauty in the daily lives of their community in the city they call home. Here now to share more are This Is Home artists Janice Chung and Cindy Trinh. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thanks for
Hi, thanks
having
for
us.
having us.
Thanks for being here with us. Is there a particular traditional way of wishing someone a happy Lunar New Year?
In Korean, you can say 새해 복 많이 받으세요, which means like may you have good luck throughout the year.
Beautiful. Can you say it a little slower?
새해 복 많이 받으세요.
Pepo Patricia. Oh gosh, I would have loved to have learned that. and so Janice.
Yes.
Oh, you're Janice.
Yeah,
And Cindy. Sorry, my apologies, ladies.
yeah. For me, I'm Vietnamese, so we actually are celebrating the year of the cat. We don't celebrate the year of the rabbit. There's like different cultural differences sometimes between Chinese New Year, Vietnamese New Year. But in Vietnamese, we say chúc mừng năm mới, which is just like wishing you a good, happy New Year.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for sharing that. Unless we talk about it, we're not unaware of it. So thank you, and my apologies for just introducing this as the year of the rabbit. But either way, it's still Happy Lunar New Year, right?
Yes, yeah, it's all Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the rabbit and year of the cat.
Got it.
It's just a lot of people don't remember that it's year of the cat too. Because the Chinese New Year is like more talked about and
Right.
more broadcasted, but yeah, there's actually a lot of interesting cultural differences between how different ethnicities might celebrate Lunar New Year.
Yeah, and thank you again for educating us about that. Now, do they hold similar characteristics through identifying, through the identification of the cat and the rabbit for the year?
I mean, and the traditions will always remain like the same within the culture. It's just there's actually no like known fact as to why Vietnamese people celebrate Year of the Cat. It's just like a lot of different possibilities. Like cats are more popular in Vietnam than rabbits. Like there's not a lot of rabbits in Vietnam, whereas there's more rabbits in China. So just like different possibilities of as to why. It's like also like folk tales, like in our folk tales, like there's stories about how the cat and the rabbit were racing to the dinner together, but then the rat tricked the cat, and then the cat got left behind at the dinner. And so I think Vietnamese people just felt sorry for the cat.
Right.
They wanted to celebrate the year of the cat.
I like that. So now you're identifying the personality of the culture.
Yeah. We identify more with like, oh, that sucks. Like we feel for the cat.
That's beautiful. And so the beauty of being in New York, though, is that you all get to share space and represent your culture. So let's talk about the photos that are on display right now. Would you like to begin, Janice?
Yeah, so my project is called Huntingtown, which is literally translated to Koreatown. Flushing is kind of like where the Korean town in New York originated. I mean, there's K-Town in Manhattan, but really the big community where people live and work was Flushing. Flushing is like this multi-ethnic hub that where immigrants would travel through. And at one point, there was a predominant Korean community there. And so now that is changing and shifting quite rapidly. And so I'm kind of focusing on like the nostalgic era of this K-town that used to really represent Flushing. And so it's really an era of my childhood that I wanted to capture. And so this project is really an homage to all the business owners, the hairstylists, the chefs, the cooks, all these people who took care of me growing up.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. Like they say, it takes a village. So it's lovely that you've made it your business to basically have them documented and represent for years to come, right? Because you're preserving the legacy of what you experienced throughout your childhood. And so, Cindy, your images seem to come across as, protesting. And I mean, there are some everyday images that we have to share with our viewers as well. However, there's something about your style that shows you've got a resistant spirit at heart. You're like a warrior.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been documenting protests in New York for a long time now, like over 10 years. And a lot of all the photos that I'm showing in this exhibition are from 2021 during, a lot of movement was happening in the Asian American community in response to the anti-Asian violence and racism that was happening since the pandemic. And, I think a lot of people were angry and frustrated and upset seeing, their people being attacked in the streets all over the country, and wanted to really speak up and come together as a community to be in solidarity with one another and to just support one another during this hard time. And so, it's important to me as an Asian American person to be out there and documenting this movement, because this was the largest Asian movement I had seen in New York in my entire time living in New York. And it was important for me personally, obviously, because I'm Asian American, and I've gone to so many protests over the years. I've showed up for so many different issues and so many different communities that want like come together, like Black Lives Matter and the climate justice movement, and unions that fight for their workers' rights. Like, I've been to so many protests, but going to all of the protests from 2021 with that were Asian led, that was really special to me. So I think a lot of the photos reflect that personal like connection, obviously, that I have with the issue, and just seeing my friends out there also protesting. That was something that was really incredibly amazing for me to witness as a photographer and to document as a photographer.
So interesting enough that you're both reflecting different aspects within the Asian community, right? Is it safe to say that these occurrences and even this photo exhibition, for that matter, are unifying the multi-ethnicity within the Asian community?
Yeah, I think this exhibition is a really great way to kind of bridge all the different aspects of this community. I mean, the immigrant community that I mainly focused on, the first generation Korean Americans, I think it'd be a great way for them to kind of think about like, what are the second generation, the younger generation thinking about and doing. And I think, having their portraits aside next to Cindy's protest images can really kind of create conversation about, what are the things that we can share and talk about together multi-generationally.
And so, Cindy, with what you've documented and where we are now, could you just share a little bit, I guess, where we are in the climate of these discussions with regards to the protesting, with regards to the unification, with regards to your documentation, with regards to you also just making it your points of letting people know and that this is your home too, right? That there's generations of whether you originated from immigrant parents, some of you are born here. I don't know if both of you are born here, but that changes the dynamic in the way things are perceived. And it seems to me like you kind of capture that in your images. So I just wondered if you would like to share a little bit more on that, on the climate of where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, like the climate of where we are now is like most movements when they come and go. It's like right now, a lot of people are starting to, forget or not really forget, but not pay attention as much anymore. But attacks on Asian Americans are still happening. You see the news, like there's still some news coverage of these attacks happening. It's just not all over like the mainstream media anymore, but the attacks are still happening, and we as Asian Americans, as people who come from immigrant families, like my families, they're all refugees. They're all Vietnamese refugees, and I was born in America though. But my mom came as a refugee from Vietnam, and the climate for us now compared to when my mom came here in 1975, it's actually quite similar.
Hmm.
We're seen as a virus, we're seen as a disease. They're calling us they're saying that Asian Americans are the source of COVID, and that's pretty similar to how my mom was treated when she came to this country. She was treated like she was unwelcome here. Um, because she came from a communist country, and so she was told that she was a communist pig, but like she fled that. She came to America to, for new opportunity, for a new life, and um, it just feels like history repeats itself a lot.
Hmm.
And as humans, we tend to not learn a lot from our mistakes and from our history. But it's also the reason why I do the work that I do, because I want to document this history. I want to have us remember like what we went through in our struggle. 50 years from now, we
Right.
can remember what we went through. And as someone who grew up like with these values, with the values of fight for what I believe in, and really stand up for the people that I care about. That is something. This is my contribution to what I feel is important for us to continue this conversation. And honestly, like the Stop Asian Hate movement was such a interesting step forward towards that, because as much as it's like not the end all be all, and as much as like it's died down a little bit, the conversations that were happening around during this time were really really important and really influential to how we can organize and how we can come together in the future, right?
Right.
Like for example, there was a lot of discussion between Black and Asian solidarity during this time, and that is so important for us moving forward as a minority community to bring together, some of the work that we do. Like one of the photos that I'm showing in the exhibition is a photo of a protester holding a sign saying Asians support Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And I think that's important for me to show, because I want us to continue these conversations of how we can support one another, how
Yeah.
we can be in solidarity with each other and uplift each
Each
other's
other.
communities.
Well, we thank you for bringing it here to our viewers, because we are standing in solidarity with all of your movements. And again, the photo exhibition actually loans itself to bringing people together to familiarize themselves more. So, well, once again, we appreciate you bringing it here on air. Janice Chung and Cindy Trinh, of course, they are highlighting the humanity within the Asian American community here in New York. The exhibition is called This Is Home Artists. And once again, the Lunar New Year 2023 photo exhibition, This Is Home, is happening now through February 26th at Flushing Town Hall, located at 137-35 Northern Boulevard, Flushing, Queens. For more information, you can visit flushingtownhall.org. All right, stay tuned. Our Open Artist Spotlight is coming up next.